Hey everyone, before you get too excited, this is not the original 98 Silverado that I've made videos of in the past. This is another 98 Silverado, two-wheel drive, same kind of layout, extended cab, little cover on the back. And take a look at the interior here. It's pretty clean, looks pretty good, it's pretty nice. Can't complain, it's in good shape. Look at the odometer there. 196,000 miles on the odometer, but very, very similar, familiar layout to the truck that I grew up with and made lots of videos of. So kind of a little bit of a flashback and memories of the old truck that we had, and wanted to give you guys a look at this truck and show you what I found wrong with it and how I fixed it. And this is a very common issue. Unfortunately, it's a really easy fix as well. The problem we had with this truck is there were no reverse lights. Both of them did not work. The one on the driver's side and the passenger side both were not functioning. And the owner of this truck thought maybe it was the transmission range selector or the range switch, so we replaced that, but the problem persisted. So I dug into it a little bit, diagnosed it here, removed both tail lights. I used a voltmeter to check the power and ground at the connectors here. Ground's fine and power's fine. So we're getting good power and ground on both of these tail lamps. So I'm thinking, well, that's strange because, you know, logic says that the chance of both of these tail lights failing at the same time is pretty remote. So I had kind of ruled that out at first, but the more I got to thinking about it, the more I realized this could very well be the case. So I took both tail lights out, and I used battery power up here to test the tail lamps. And the turn signal circuit worked, the brake circuit worked, but the reverse circuits did not work. And I was really starting to think, man, could it be that both of these failed at the same time? Well, let me show you what I found. So here are the tail lamps for the truck. Now this is one that I haven't taken apart yet. And what you're gonna see when you take this tail lamp off, it's really easy. You got two Phillips screws, and then the tail lamp assembly just pulls out of the bed of the truck. But what you're going to see are two 1/4-inch bolts here and here. Now you take these two bolts out, a little nut driver or a ratchet. Once you've got them out, this little back of the tail lamp assembly comes out just like this. And it's going to look something like this. You'll see your three bulbs here. The bottom one is your reverse lamp. And then you got your turn signal and brake lamps right here. Now what I did, normally this is not a serviceable part, but I went ahead and took it apart anyway to show you guys what fails here. I took these three bulbs out. The bulbs are still good, by the way, so we're going to be reusing the bulbs. This little insulator comes off here. Then you're going to need a drill, and what you're going to do is you're going to drill out all these little plastic holes here, these little rivet holes. It's kind of like a plastic molding, so drill those out with your drill. Once you've got those drilled out, you can take a small screwdriver and pry this little circuit board up just like so. Now obviously it's going to be a lot more difficult as it's going to break some of these little plastic weld or mold spots here off. As you can see, here's one of them. Here's what they look like on the other side. And anyway, once you pry the circuit board off, it'll expose the back of it. Now I did not realize this until I started working on this truck, but the back of this board here is all a conductor, okay? Initially you think, okay, see like these little breaks here, maybe that's the wire or where the current flows. It's actually the exact opposite. These are breaks in the conductive surface of this board. Let me show you here. So here I have my DVOM, and I've got it set up to read resistance, and when there's continuity you hear a beep, just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to test continuity of this board here. Now, the way this works, we have our ground here. You've got ground, I believe, is the way it works on this one. And then you have your reverse lamp power here. and both tail lamp and turn signal powers here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check and see if we have good continuity throughout this board. So here's ground. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Do we have a good reverse circuit? Okay, looks good. Now look at the other side of the circuit board here. These little metal prongs are what make contact with the conductive surface here. You can see little etch marks where they've kind of dug in there, and that's how this works. Now, in my opinion, kind of a crappy design, really not made to last, but you know what? It worked for over 20 years on this truck until now, so maybe it's okay. But that's how this works, and the problem is, if you look really closely here, you can start to see some rust and corrosion buildup. Again, this is a reverse lamp, so all the condensation, anything that builds up in here is going to settle down on this side. You can see some rust and corrosion building up on there. See that? So when that happens, you get excessive resistance. See where those were touching there? How there's rust starting to build up here and here? If you look up here, you don't see it forming yet. And that's why the reverse lamps weren't working on this truck. So the fix to this is really easy. All we have to do is just replace both tail lamp assemblies. You could probably get this board separate, but why not freshen up your truck with a set of brand new tail lamps? They're super cheap online. You don't have to get OE stuff. An aftermarket one will work just great. So there we go. Another 98 Silverado video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, even though it's not the Silverado that I grew up with. It's kind of nice to have a similar vehicle back in the garage again to work on and fix and get it up and going and properly functioning for the next customer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Hopefully it helps some of you out there if you're having the same problem. As always, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.